trolling.
Is it actually 322?
It is. I tabbed out. My computer clock says 322.
Wow. Wow. Now, 322s in OG series, there wasn't really... the last series we watched against EG, there wasn't necessarily any of that, but I feel today the pressure's on, in my mind, for Anna, because we saw Anna at his best, and at his not as good as his best yesterday, didn't we? We saw an amazing game from him, and then we saw him struggle on the Invoker in Game 3.
Well, it was not only that, but it was the Morph too, right? He had the Morphling game
and the Morph
where
game.
he was also having a really hard time. I would probably say that game in particular wasn't really all his fault. Because
No, absolutely not. No.
The timing just didn't really fit the hero for what the pace of the game is being played at, and it just kind of got real messy for him real fast. But we're moving on here. Obviously, they did lose to EG yesterday, so they'll be going up against iG.Vitality, who I have not really seen a whole lot from personally. But after watching OG and Secret, obviously play their own games, I've just come to the realization that Western teams right now, at least, are just so much more reactionary than the Chinese teams. So I'm curious to see what Fly has in store here for this series.
Yes, I mean, it really is, as you said. It's going to be all about how they react to what IGV do. I mean, iG.Vitality opening up with the Earth Spirit pick, something that we saw OG themselves run yesterday. And OG, they'll use this opening to get their hands on the Drought, and of course the Oracle. A hero
it's like
that
the best
was,
hero against Earth Spirit.
And one of
insane.
Fly's best heroes at the moment, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday he had when they played against EG, the game they won, I think he was a roaming Oracle who got 3 or 4 kills on the safe lane PA of EG within the first 15 minutes. It was kind of insane. So if he has any performance similar to that, I think they're going to be in really good shape. But Oracle, just incredible against Earth Spirit in every conceivable way. You can dispel magnetize, you can make targets magic immune. He's pretty much the whole package. It's like picking Oracle against Darkseer, except maybe even worse for Earth Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, with the Oracle pick as well, I mean, thinking about the other meta picks, obviously, Shadow Demon's still in the pool.
They can't pick Shadow Demon, though, so I think iG.Vitality most likely would ban it in the second phase instead of taking it here. Because if you pick Shadow Demon and Earth Spirit together, you're kind of... You just give away your entire early game movement capabilities. It's like, okay, we can expect this from the rotations, and then we just know what to prepare for. It's just giving away too much too fast. So the Tide comes out. We saw it used in the last series, actually, against the Drow strat to great effect by Secret. And it's just something that kind of slows the pace of the game down, and also can, if you get an early mech, you can do your own pushing, you can counter gank and defend your towers and whatnot. So it's a very solid pick here coming in from iG.Vitality.
Well, here we have the third ban now from OG. As you said, obviously in this game, they're not necessarily going to be worried about IGV picking up an SD. In that case, what the kind of other supports that come to mind that you feel that OG want to be, they don't want to have picked against this Drow strat they're running?
I don't know if they're necessarily going to focus supports, because Earth Spirit's kind of already the roaming potential hero, and a lot of the time what you do is you ban the heroes who can apply pressure to lanes, not necessarily be like a mid-game or a late-game kind of scaling support, for example. So I think maybe they look to stuff like PA. I don't know if iG.Vitality play it, but we've been seeing a lot of PA recently from the other teams, and I think it actually matches up very well against what OG currently have, because you have something to close the gap to get onto Drow during team fights, and you just have that ridiculous chasing potential, and you have a really good team already who's going to be building support items like Mech on Tidehunter, for example, and having the Ravage to fight around. So if I'm OG, I'm looking at stuff like that. But again, it depends on what Fly really prioritizes and the biggest dangers of his strat. So he is going to at least ban a core. And Slark is pretty much just as mobile as a PA in a lot of cases and can be very hard to kill.
And IGV now looking to see what they can take away from this Drow Oracle and such. I mean, obviously one of the heroes as well that we've seen quite a few times being picked up with Drow lineups is something like the Axe as a bit of a frontliner. And we have seen many games in this LAN where Axe has been a huge issue. If you're IGV, are you worried about an Axe? I mean, you've already got 2 melee heroes. Is Axe something that's going to come to mind?
I do think that he's really solid. I think the hero's just strong in general. It's not necessarily that he has to be behind a Drow strat. It's just he's good. And he always gets a lot, even if his lane's not spectacular. We've seen a couple of people play it so far here at the MDL, and pretty much all of them have had standout performances, so I think it's more attributed to just the overall strength of the hero. And I don't know if I've seen S4 in particular play it yet, but I do think that it's probably in his arsenal because it's one of those initiation heroes and he loves them. So
and there's one of them. I mean, you're talking about what would be in his arsenal. The puck certainly would be something that comes to mind with S4, and a little bit of a shame it's getting banned out. I guess there was, you know, by all means, every chance they pick it, they've got S4, they've got the Drow, or a puck would have been nice. And I guess it's another one of those heroes that can kind of mess with supports like Earth Spirit.
Well, I also, you could assume that it could be offlane or mid, right? Because, I mean, he has Drow Aura.
Yeah, I guess Anna could
so
have, yeah.
It's kind of one of those things where you're just really worried about OG being able to take fights. Because one of the scariest things about Drow lineups when you have a hero like Axe or Puck is it gives you the picking potential that pretty much guarantees a building.
Yes.
So when you get a kill, you just get the objective right after the fact, and that makes it much more devastating of a combination. And I think that's what, you know, iG.Vitality are more scared about right now. Sniper is a bit interesting. It is very annoying to push into when it comes to high ground, especially since the addition of things like Dragonlance, and he can hold high ground like nobody's business. That's probably Sniper's best attribute, and a lot of Drow strategies can fall apart when you're trying to break those tier 3s. So I kind of get where Fly's coming from with the ban.
Yeah.
It's just not something we see a lot.
I mean, the thing is, I'm looking at this game. I don't think we've seen OG necessarily do it in this current iteration, but I mean, you've got an Oracle, a Drow. Huskar is in the pool. If you're iG.V, is there a bit of you that's like, we don't want them to have the option of going a Huskar lineup? I mean, they banned the Medusa. I mean, do you think OG could pull out Huskar in a game like this? Or is it not something? I mean, as I said, because this isn't necessarily, it's not going to be the pick. Okay, they go with Vanna's OD, which is understandable after obviously the performance we saw yesterday. So no Huskar.
I mean,
today,
Huskar would have been okay.
Yeah.
The thing about Huskar is they like iG.Vitality haven't picked any of their cores yet, so the 1 and 2 position are still open.
Yeah, so they could.
Which means that it's a lot easier to counter pick with like an Ursa, or you know, they themselves maybe still looking for the PA, stuff like that, which can just completely crush a Huskar pick. It just really depends on, you know, what iG.Vitality feel comfortable playing. And like I said, I haven't seen really many of their games, so I don't know what they're going to gravitate towards and stopping this kind of onslaught here that OG have going. But right now, it looks a little bit scary, so they're going to go ahead and get their hands on a Juggernaut. I would say that iG.Vitality are picking, like, not necessarily super standard, but they're picking very safe heroes. And I think against OG, when they have this kind of draw strategy, it can be dangerous to fall into that trap, because right now they have 3 melee. I don't see anybody defending towers right now against this early push of OG. They're really reliant on winning their lanes and trying to take team fights, but it's a bit concerning because I think that OG, they can kind of just take all your towers by 15 minutes if they get a good start.
And I mean, with this third melee, you know, Axe is still there if S4 wants to play it. And as you said, you know, the Juggernaut pick maybe more of iG.V's comfort rather than reacting to what OG have, because you look at the lineup and, you know, they've got ways to win the lanes. They've got the saves from both Oracle and OD with the Astral, so Jug's always not going to have the easiest times locking on, and there's your Axe. It just fits so nicely here. And I've got to say at the moment, I know the draft's not over, but I feel that OG's lineup is very, very strong, especially just going on the player to hero performances that we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm liking their draft a lot more. Obviously, we still have another core coming out from iG.Vitality. Looks like it's going to be a safe lane Terrorblade, so it adds a lot of damage. It's a hero who potentially will be ranged during meta. The biggest concern that I have is, you know, playing triple, even potentially quadruple melee into a hero like Axe. You know, he can pressure the lane very hard. If OG decide at some point, because I think that the last pick is most likely from iG.Vitality going to be another support, they can even do like a dual off lane and just go for hard pressure, because Axe +1 and having that Terrorblade down there can be crazy. I mean, heck, what's stopping them from just picking like a Dazzle or something like that and just 5-man Dota from like level 7 on the Drow? It would be so incredibly hard for this team to stop. And that's my biggest concern right now for iG.Vitality.
This final ban from OG. I mean, still looking to take away that second support. Actually going to ban out the Silencer here. Obviously one of those heroes that can be quite a nuisance indeed against heroes with a save like Oracle and such.
It gives them ridiculously good team fight. I think that's the main reason why they want to avoid it. Because it's already hard enough breaking high ground against Tide alone and Earth Spirit, but trying to go high ground against an additional global on top of that, and having another way to counter-initiate against the Axe, like that's another thing too. When you only have one hero who initiates, having a global silence is amazing, because it just guarantees that there's never going to be any follow-up, and all the Silencer has to do in fights is stand behind everybody. So no matter who gets caught, you global, and it's like, okay, well, initiation is over. We can't do anything. And sometimes your initiator might actually die if you're the one leading in. So a very good ban here from OG. I'm still liking what they're doing a bit more. I can see iG.Vitality kind of pulling out a lot of damage during the mid game. If they do get a good Ravage, they are going to ban the Dazzle, by the way. So
as you said, yeah.
That would have just been like unbelievable 5-man push. Just how the hell do we ever stop this?
Well, iG.V now with the final pick. They still need that, that second support. It is going to be the Shadow Demon. We mentioned it earlier, and as you said, you weren't a huge fan of this idea. Are you a bit more of a fan now? There's the TB in the jug.
I wasn't a fan of picking it when you mentioned it the first time because it would have given away too much of what their strategy was capable of.
Yes, yeah.
So oftentimes you don't pick both supports together because they're the heroes who control the tempo in the early game, and they're the ones who decide more or less how the game's going to be played, not the cores.
Oh.
So Io going to be the last pick here for the side of OG. Gives them a little bit more picking potential. It's great for boosting damage on the Drow as well when you're pushing, and even tethering Axe can be pretty scary. But yeah, I'm still liking OG a bit more. I think the Shadow Demon Terrorblade strat has a chance to scale a little bit better into the mid-late game, but they are going to have a hell of a time stopping OG's onslaught here.
Yes, and with the Io pick as well, it's certainly not, I wouldn't say, going to be an easy game for the Io. I mean, if there's one mispositioning play from Jerax, he is going to get eaten alive by iG.V's lineup. So he has got to be so careful with where he holds himself. But as you said, certainly adds to the playstyle that OG are going to look to run this match. And it's going to be interesting to see how they stand up to the power of iG.V with something that's definitely kind of standard Chinese, you know what I mean? It's the Jug, the Terrorblade, the Shadow Demon Tider. It's stuff that a lot of the teams over there are doing. And understandably so, it's very, very strong. But we'll see how it matches up against OG in this game. So as we get ourselves in, let me get the nice little overlay on. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. So this is game 1 of iG.V versus OG. And last game of the day today here at the MDL lab. And we'll see what kind of lanes we've got going on. Well, at the moment, in fact, we'll hold that thought because it looks like iG.V are going to try and get something done here. Level 1 with the 5-man smoke. Heading into the jungle. I mean, level 1 fight. Does iG.V potentially have a clear advantage here, or can OG hit back equally as hard?
They can definitely hit back. The scary things to look at for IG is, you're going to have spin at level 1 on Jug, which is crazy because you can't disable him. It's a lot of damage. You get a roll in onto somebody on top of his spin and a metamorphosis coming out from the Terrorblade. Yeah, you can easily get a kill. It's not like OG's heroes are super tanky in the beginning, especially the supports. So if Jerax or Fly are the ones who get caught out, they are going to just pop.
And with the smoke running out, this ward already put down by OG is going to reveal everything, and it's going to allow OG to try and take the fight themselves. To move in, Light, it just melts!
God.
Oh my goodness, there's going to be defensive disruption, but this man's short of dead. Jerax is the first, but they do lose S4. The question is, can anyone find themselves a second kill? There'll be an Astral from Ana, taking one out of the fight, then manage to take the Earth Spirit. They'll turn towards Cicada on the Jug as well, ending up getting a double kill for Fly. It's a 3-for-1 trade. iG.V may have got the first blood, but pretty much that ward there, allowing OG to prepare for the turnaround. And look, even find more paparazzi caught out in the river. A 4th kill for an OG, an absolute bloodbath to start the game off. And Fly, he's 2-0-2 on the Oracle. You do not want to give that man a good start.
So the main issue with the way that they engage is the path they took. Like, they're walking up into a choke point. OG had like this full concave around the high ground where they were fully prepared. They could decide more or less who was taking damage. And iG.Vitality just walks up to the high ground and starts getting hit by 5 heroes before anybody else on the side of iG.V are in position to do anything. And he just tries to get an anchor smash off right before he dies. And looks like there's going to be a little bit of a scuffle here in the top lane, but looks like Fly is going to be fine.
It was just...
walking that particular path is super dangerous for that reason, because you don't know what you're walking into.
Absolutely not. I mean, now that things have started to settle down with regards to the lanes, do you feel the side's going to have an easier time? I mean, is the Drow kind of a clear win on the lanes, or just the fact that they've got this matchup? I mean, this bottom lane...
I think mid and top... Yeah. Mid and top will be more than fine. S4 might eventually be forced out and, go jungle or something like that. But he also has, Jerax can be doing some stacks for him. And then he can easily go for the Vanguard into Blink Dagger build that we've been seeing so often and just kind of accelerate his farm so he can be the initiator that his team needs. So it's not really on S4 to like own his lane or anything. It's more just support stacking. Make sure you win your safe lane in your mid, and you'll be fine.
I mean, that's a point as well. The stacks that JerAx is creating, is this mainly for S4, or can we expect Ana to get some of that farm with the Astral spam? Yeah, indeed. Talking about the man, was that a little bit of a courier bait? It may have just been, as Cicada hangs around, tries to tickle with the donkey, but ends up getting the donk himself. Top lane, looking for more. OG continuing the high action here. 5-1 they lead at the moment. Now forcing July right back out of the lane. But this is certainly a strong start here for the boys from the West.
Yeah, this is, you know, Cicada wasn't doing too bad until he died, at least in regards to overall CS. The higher level that Ana gets and obviously the Drow gets is going to become more difficult because he's going to get more and more damage. And Acer in here.
Well, let's see if they can do something with this one. They've got 3 men closing in onto Ana. This should be a surefire kill. No way to whip that one up as iG.V quick to hit back, get themselves a very high priority kill, and get Cicada involved and giving a bit of space as well. But as this all goes on, stacks are being created in OG's jungle. They are going to have that massive kind of bank to fall back on. No stacks at the moment over on the side of iG.V, as they just rely on trying to maintain control of the lanes. As we can see on the bottom, indeed S4 has been backing off now to the jungle. So there's more space here for the Terrorblade. So Paparazzi, we can expect to see him get good farm on the Terrorblade. It'll just be interesting to see what he's able to do with it this game.
It's just going to be all about how they defend. Like, I would say the Terrorblade farming is just going to happen. It's almost inevitability because OG don't have amazing pick-off potential until, you know, S4 gets his blink. So I'm assuming that Paparazzi is going to get his core items up, no real issue.
Oh, and then it's going to... Again, Cicada is trying to get out, but Ana's diving. He's got JerAx backing him up. Cicada trying to go for the jukes. He's bottling up. Is it going to be enough? The kitty cat's down. Oh, no, no. One more touch. They've got it. Super. Can he get himself the easiest double kill of his life? No, Ana denies it. Astral onto the Shadow Demon. Out they go. And Ana and JerAx get away with the plays. And yeah, a second kill on that mid lane jug. And I'm just looking at S4, and this man is getting absolute banked. I think he had pretty much a quad stack there. And in fact, hello, what? Okay. Fly
found him, yeah.
Apparently coming across, yeah, looks like with this ward, he must have been hanging around on low HP.
Around. Like, he was extremely low health, and I thought he was just going back to base because he didn't have a TP scroll. Part of the reason why the dive on mid pretty much went unanswered from the side of iG.V, but that was crazy. If I was Cicada right now, I would be tilted after that. I lived for like 20 seconds, and I didn't get a single TP until, you know, after I was already dead. That's got to be very frustrating for him. Because he actually played it about as well as you could have asked him to. And he got Ana from full HP to almost dead with just tower hitting him more or less. That was a very impressive amount of time that he was able to buy. I could see disruption here from Super, but no real mana to follow it up. But early game-wise, OG are getting everything they need.
They really are. They're doing well in the lanes. S4's getting a lot in the jungle. At the moment, pretty much the best hope for iG.V is the fact that Paparazzi on this bottom lane is finding space, of course, on the Terrorblade. But now, looks like S4's going to return down. He's level 6. And he's going to come back in as the lane pushes in just to get some of these lane creeps. And hang around a little bit. It has to be careful, though, because Dogfight's coming over on the Spirit, and Super's still in the neighborhood. Looks like JerAx is going to move over as well, just to provide a little bit of a backup in case iG.V do go in hard on S4 on this bottom lane.
I mean, this is a very dangerous dive. I think that iG.V are going to be keen to that. They have 3 in the area, though. But I think JerAx already revealed himself with a Spirit, so they know exactly what they're getting into. I think it's really hard for iG.V to be efficient with their supports in the early game, unless, like, you know, Super is going around stacking and stuff. But if he's not constantly watching mid, we saw how heavily OG are prioritizing that matchup, already killing the Juggernaut, you know, 2 times additionally after the first little skirmish in the woods. So it's hard for iG.V. They're kind of getting outpaced here in the early game, and OG's lineup is going to hit its peak much faster than what iG.V is going to be able to. So I'm a little bit concerned, especially after that first fight. That was like, what, 4 kills pretty much?
Yeah, it pretty much. It's a bit of a bloodbath. And it's certainly continued OG's way. I mean, because he flies constantly kind of back and forth across the map around this this stack and an ancient area, just in case he finds anyone. In fact, he is going to find Super, but yeah, on his own, not enough lockdown and kill potential to take down the Shadow Demon. The ancients are being stacked now for iG.V, This guy says no. Ancient Granite Golem refusing to move.
Yeah, what's up with that? Why the heck didn't that? I don't know. This game has so many like small bugs that just don't make any sense. Angelai needs to be careful here. Fly's only level 3, but he can still front load a fair amount of damage, and marksmanship is up too.
iG.V, I think they've caught onto what Fly's doing. They're coming over.
Smoked.
Actually, no, maybe they're not aware of Fly.
He reveals the smoke.
Fly, you sneaky little boy.
Man, that ward is actually so good. His positioning too. He's just playing around the ward so well because he realizes that if they want to gank the draw, which No-Tail might still be dead.
Yeah, I mean, they had eyes on this. No-Tail. Yeah, he's gone.
I don't know how he dies like that. That was actually pretty bad.
They should have seen, yeah, they definitely saw the smoke come off under the cover of their ward, so, yeah, just,
It could have been miscommunication. He might have thought that Jerax would have been able to tether to him, and he would have been able to get away, but unfortunately Jerax doesn't have boots. So if he had boots, maybe he's able to tether in time, get the overcharge off and heal him a bit, maybe get the save. But miscommunication, maybe No-Tail stayed too long. That was, oh, Sky looking for the Omni here.
He can't play his way out this one, or maybe he can. Oh, no, he can't. That's pain. But it should be
he's
fine.
got a DD.
Oh, no, he's not. He's got to stay away from that cliff, son. The ball remains.
That was an interesting exchange there. But yeah, a couple of really important kills going the way of iG.V.
Oh, look at this mid. They're going to try and make a bit of a go on Ana. Stun. It's going to connect. But yeah, not quite enough damage. And Fly's there as well to back him up, so not going to be able to do it. In fact, at the same time, though, what Jerax and No-Tail able to find themselves the kill onto Cicada. Now they'll sweep around towards the mid.
It's a very messy early game from both teams.
It's just absolutely all over the place.
OG is still obviously getting the advantage, and No-Tail making the proper rotation now after dying in the top lane. He has 4 points in precision aura, he's got marksmanship, he just wants to hit buildings at this point. You don't really, like, a lot of teams, I think, underestimate how much pushing power you actually have just as soon as you hit level 7. And you're getting, like, even half the tier 1 down, basically, in one fell swoop before he makes his way back towards top lane. So, getting some damage in. Still waiting on the side of OG for Jerax to hit level 6. And then, you know, obviously Fly is hurting a bit for levels now, but I guess No-Tail's going to give him the lane. So he'll be able to eventually get that false promise, which will help out a lot too.
That's for with the Vanguard now complete. They don't have any... Oh, okay, they've just got a double stack of Ancients over on the side of OG. Jerax getting some nice deep wards down. Does have eyes on Cicada, but unlikely to want to do anything, even with the help of Ana here. Well, they might try, but there's 3 heroes on iG.V here. Ana's got to be careful. Ana in a bit of trouble. Demonic Purchase down. They'll jump forward. He Astrals himself.
Look at these TPs.
Everyone's coming in on the side of OG, and iG.V realize it. They just back away. They're not going to go in more for that, and it's
I think
the
they
wise
just lose
decision.
their tower now, though. Because, I mean, what are you going to do against this 5-man? You don't really have the damage to fight into this. I think you just lose your building. That is not a favorable exchange from iG.V at all. Even though OG commit a lot of teleports, obviously they get what they came for.
Oh, they get the Ancient stack as well. S4's just picked up the Vanguard, so he can take it.
Oh, they know Angelai doesn't have any mana. Angelai can't even TP back to base. They're just going to steal this because he's showing on lane with no mana.
They're trying to come in and stop it, but they may pay out with their lives. The good silence, it's not going to be enough, though, to stop just the punches. Coming down to Super Cicada, comes in with the Omni, takes down the Aya, but now he's surrounded by 4 of OG and S4 with the body blunks, the dog down. Oh, no. Not how iG.V needed to do that.
That was a really big mistake from iG.V. I mean, it's a very small thing, but when you're playing a hero like Tidehunter, and your hero is incredibly important to the defensive towers, as Paparazzi might actually be dying here. And, what's happening? Why'd he turn around? Oh,
what? Oh, Jerax, he's solo kill.
He was trying to bait him long enough for Jerax to get there, but
what the hell is going on?
His bait resulted in... yeah, I don't know. There's got to be some, like...
Meanwhile, top lane, there's another fight kicking off. In July, he's got mana, he hasn't got any health, though. OG, take him off the map. This is one of the messiest games we've seen this LAN. It's only 2 days, but this is...
I'm not going to lie to you, this is clowny.
What the hell is going on?
I mean, I can kind of get where Ana was coming from with the bait. You know, I'm sure Jerax is like, I relocate, I'll come in. And then he just tries to keep him in the area long enough for Jerax to get there and just accidentally eats another auto attack, which kills him. I mean, I can forget that, but contesting the Ancients when you know your Tidehunter has no mana and can't even TP back to base when you're fighting like pretty much 3v5 because Paparazzi was pushing the tier 2 bottom, that was just a bad call. Like there's no way you ever can defend that.
Oh man. And now what? 11 minutes in, S4, Blink pretty much complete on top of the Vanguard now. Yeah, that's pretty terrifying, especially with just the way that we can expect an Axe to just have his place in these games. We've seen how much an Axe can do, and I think this is probably the fastest Blink Vanguard that I've seen this lap.
It's incredibly fast, yeah, and he's going to be able to escape the smoke as well. So another move here by iG.V. They have meta up in about 2 seconds, so they might still be able to get the tower. I think OG might take this time to either go for a counter tower or just go straight for Roche. They also have an Ancient stack that's being done as well for S4 to get even more out of control. So, you know, in the grand scheme of things, OG are just playing a bit more efficient. Sure, Paparazzi's sitting at the highest CS right now, but in regards to overall game plan, I think OG are just going to hit their stride a little bit too quick. And the Tidehunter doesn't have Blink yet, he's going for the mech route, which is fine, but I'm still... They need OG to mess up at this point. Because this is when it's going to start to be 5-man Dota. And it's going to be down to, can you land a good Ravage? Do you get picked off by S4, who is currently looking for a straggler here in this top lane?
He's on his own at the moment. He has got the rest of the team moving out of in cover of smoke.
Well,
now
Jarek's
they're near
has a
enough to help.
and relocate, so...
Yeah, they can help him. And immediately S4 goes for the Shadow Demon. Backups there with the Silence. Super's out. Now we can expect the rest of iG.V just to scatter. Get themselves out of there. And that is indeed the play as iG.V back off. As you said, iG.V need more time, more space. They do still have Paparazzi at the top of the network. He is keeping up very nicely in farm on the Terrorblade. It's just elsewhere in the lineup that the team is certainly suffering at this stage.
The issue is even though he's the highest net worth now, well, he might even be dead.
That's one.
We'll see what happens.
That's the call. There's a relocate coming through as well. No tail turns up. The Silence is there. S4 sending it up across the map, allowing for these relocates. And just OG continuing the momentum, taking down that hero that, as we were saying, is the only one that's really doing well on the side of iG.V.
Yeah, it's not just that though. It's even if you're farming extremely well, there comes a time when you're going to start losing all your towers because the Drow strategy is going to be fully online. Like only 150 more experience until No Tail's got level 2 marksmanship. That boosts your damage even more. You already got Roshan. All the objectives are pretty much being checked off one by one. And they're even still keeping the, their mid-tier 1 alive. It's still like 80% health. iG.V don't really have the greatest team at punishing in regards to push, except for Paparazzi, and he needs to be in position and alive to do that. And also consider, for him to do that, he needs backup too, because they have a relocate and an axe. And if he gets caught by that, he's gonna die.
And look
so
at Jared.
Yeah, the man's got a mech before the Tidehunter. This game is like already out of hand, and this is what I was really concerned with when I saw, iG.V picking Earth Spirit and Jug and Tide. It's like you need something that's going to be able to either win a lane or dictate some kind of tempo, and they just don't have those heroes. Because Earth Spirit on his own, he can't really get a kill on any lane unless he has like the Shadow Demon there together with him, which is how they actually killed Ana the first time. But yeah, I'm very concerned for the side of iG.V. If you're an OG fan, you're feeling pretty good right now.
Certainly seems to, indeed be the case. Top lane iG.V trying to poke a little bit at the tier 2, but understandably they've got to be very scared of OG reacting. Exactly what they're doing. Ana and S4 heading over with the rest of the boys in July. You need to get yourself out of there, Ana. Popping the drums, trying to close the gap. Look for an Astral to maybe set this up. In July, going for the little bit of a jukes. It's a good one.
Nice.
It's a good juke. He's out, and the rest of them as well. So iG.V able to avoid this.
I mean, the more space that they can create like that, the better off they're going to be. Because there will still come this stage, if they can last long enough, where Paparazzi's Terrorblade with Shadow Demon Disruption Illusions will start to become, a little bit scary. Granted, they are playing against an OD, so OD pretty much one-shots Illusions at every stage in the game.
Paparazzi!
He did.
He is certainly dead. These wards from OG, we had the one here earlier where they're also able to utilize it to get a pick off on the Terrorblade. Absolutely huge, and just S4 being there at the right time. Hoping to find the kill. Cicada getting a little hungry there. Maybe thinking about walking in for an Omni Slash, but Ana is going to hang around. Cicada is going to go for the Blade Fury TP. Looks like the damage isn't there, so he will escape just in time. But yeah, they've got to try and keep the map a little bit safer. Make sure that Paparazzi can find his space. At the moment, S4 now sitting at the top of the net worth 9.3k. You know, we were saying in the draft how the Axe pick would have looked to be a strong one, and S4 is certainly showing us that this is a perfect game for Axe, and he's playing it just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he did have a lot of help from his team as well. Getting the stacks boosted him into that position. You know, where we saw Velo the other day, he just gets everything from his team, and then he just carries. That is the call here.
We're going to have a relocate through as well. Cicada's going to go for the Blade Fury. Doesn't have a TP, but he does have the backup of his team. But the team maybe quick to die. July coming in, hits the 3-man Ravage. Can IG use this to their potential? Ana, false promise though. Fly with the save. Dogfight is going to be defensively disrupted up for the time being. Ana now trying to back up. He's getting a fair bit of damage on him, and he will pop. He has the Aegis for round 2. No one else to die as of yet. He's still in the tree line. Gets silenced up. Cicada still has the Omni. He's going to pop it on the Ana, but again, Ana has the Astral. Now the jump in. S4 with a 3-man call. The 3-man gun. They're all dead. Triple kill for S4. Oh my goodness. OG just making it absolutely impossible for iG.V to fight into them.
My God, that was 4 heroes, right? Was it 3 or 4 heroes? I thought he caught Cicada. Maybe he didn't.
Maybe he did, but that was. I mean, S4. Yeah. I mean, game 2. Who are you banning? I mean, I think Fly's Oracle. You could not let this man play Oracle.
Well, I think a lot of things happened in the draft that just didn't really favor them. Like, they got counterpicked Oracle. Maybe. I mean, if I look at this draft again, I actually think that they just didn't research OG's picks at all. Like, they knew that Fly played Oracle. They know that OG plays Drow. Yeah. It's like they just were willing to play against, you know, OG's some of their better heroes, and they were just like, yeah, whatever, we're gonna do our own thing. I felt like it was a solid outdraft by OG, and I felt like they also outplayed them very badly. I mean, sure, you can say in the beginning of the game, losing those 4 heroes and, you know, Cicada getting ganked again probably put them, you know, too far behind to really recover. But at the same time, I didn't really think that iG.V were going to have the room to make this draft function anyway. Because they're running into this problem where Paparazzi needs to be farming on his own all the time. But he also needs to be off the map all the time, because if he's not, he's going to get relocate ganked or killed by S4. If you're doing that, you're not applying any lane pressure. And if you're not applying any lane pressure, you're not doing anything. You're just eating jungle creeps. It just makes the hero a non-factor, and that's the biggest struggle right now, is trying to find space for him to farm whilst not dying.
Well, at the moment, yeah. Hiding deep in the tree. He's trying to cut himself even deeper. He's looking.
I mean,
for
we're
the
getting
escape.
the Blair Witch status up here. That's how deep in the woods he is. It's not great. Like, he can't show. Nope. And that's the strength of having the IO and the Axe together. It just applies so much passive pressure to you on the map that as a core you can't feel safe to farm a creep wave. You can't apply lane pressure.
He's out now. He's done. He's done. He's had his fun. Oh boy.
I mean, I would actually. I don't really think any team with this lineup would be able to make much more happen, barring like the early game fight not going so badly for them. Like, that's probably the one thing where you can look to and say, okay, maybe if this didn't happen, our game would have been better. Or maybe if we didn't try to contest our Ancients 3v5, when we didn't have Ravage, or even our, you know, Paparazzi Terrorblade at the team fight, maybe this game would have went better. It was more than just the draft, but the draft definitely had a lot to do with it.
iG.V, well, let's take a tier 1 from the mid lane, but of course up top, tier 1 and a tier 2 going down. S4 has just picked up the BKB. I mean, 20 minutes in. Blink, Vanguard, Blade Mail, BKB, absolutely ridiculous for this Axe at this stage.
Definitely stop the push.
Oh, Fly. Oh, hello. Well, they're actually a little bit scared about taking him down. They hit the stun. They kind of backed off. And what? He's gonna get out. He's gonna get out.
Oh my God.
Oh shoot.
Detection, boys.
No whoop. Oh.
Yeah. Dude, he is so farmed too. He's got Glimmer Cape and Ether Loans. Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
It's
take some of these items away. Nerf Fly.
It's actually insane how much money he has as an Oracle. Normally that's the one support who pretty much doesn't get anything because he just doesn't have any way of clearing the wave unless you're spamming like Purifying Flames on range creeps. And if you do that when a core is around, he probably isn't going to be your friend for very long. They needed another good Blink Ravage, similar to the one they had when they were defending the tier 2 bottom. Like, that was a bit of a glimmer of hope because they managed to take down Ana. If he didn't have Aegis there, they would have defended. It would have been a successful fight from iG.V. If they can replicate that scenario where OG get very aggressive and can get another Ravage like that, it is possible for them to turn it, but the BKB being finished on S4 as well, that's... How the hell do you kill that hero now?
This is getting crazy. iG.V needs something huge. They need that, 12-man Ravage. That's what they need. They need something. They need a miracle.
The man needs a refresher somehow.
Is he still building his mech? He is, isn't he? Yeah.
No. He bought the chainmail and then he decided
to go for the Blink.
Having the mech probably wasn't going to work because they needed some way to actually start the fight. So he went for the Blink, which I think is the right call. No question. He can make another big play.
In July, he's thinking about the jump. He's not going to go for it as of yet. He's holding off.
And this is another problem too, is that once the lineup of OG gets to your tower, and they have that really nice concave, it becomes increasingly difficult for a hero like Tidehunter to initiate, especially when you have like this other melee core like Juggernaut.
Oh, look at this timing. Fly. Roshan, please. There we go.
He pinged it. He saw it. Okay.
Yeah, he pretty much just typed into the console spawn Rosh or something there. Fly with the hacks. And OG.
I don't know what they're supposed to do. Okay, they're gonna go for the last ditch effort here. They know that Rosh is gonna be up soon, so they're gonna 5-man smoke.
Oh, can they actually get there in time? It's falling pretty fast. I think they can get there in time.
They're going to get there in time. They're going to get there.
So this is going to be the fight. In July, leading the way, but S4 blocking the way. Here we go, there's the jump, the Ravage comes through, it's come up, but the BKB was already out from S4. Looking to lock down dogfights on the back of it. Fly has his eyes on In July. Ana still in the pit. Paparazzi moving forward with the Metamorphosis. OG coming down, sweeping across. They're trying to push him back out. Sakana went for the Omnisash, but again, the Astral stopping the damage of it all. Nice boulder smash holding Ana back. S4 in the front of it all. He's been silenced, but the Gust from No-Tail. They take down Sakana. They've found one. Can they get themselves anything more of this? iG.V still holding their ground. Paparazzi trying to man up against No-Tail. Dogfights rolls in, but Ana drops the setting. Paparazzi, though, steals the life of Ana. Turns around. Can they kill OD? No. Forced out. He lives. The dog from S4 takes down Dogfight. And OG, they do it again. iG.V tried their best, and they know it's all over. They tap out. GG, well played, 22-6. OG with some incredibly farmed heroes at just the 24-minute mark. And game 2, iG.V need to switch up their game plan.
I mean, the beginning of this game was very hectic for both teams. A lot of movement around the map, a lot of really weird engagements and deaths and stuff like that. But, even after the draft, I would say that OG probably win this game most of the time, just based on heroes. I think that maybe one of the bigger things too is, In July just wasn't really on the same page with his team. It's a small thing, but like showing in lane like that, like he did top when they were contesting the Ancients and just proving that you cannot come to a fight, like stuff like that is very telling, especially to a team that has good communication. So I feel like that was a huge factor for iG.V this game, just not quite saying, okay, we need to fight this. It didn't seem like they really agreed on what the game plan was supposed to be, which is more or less just farm the Terrorblade and defend what towers you can. That's pretty much the only way they can play the game. So hopefully for the next game, they don't get Drowned. I assume it's going to be banned, unless their first pick, in which case they might take it themselves.
It really is going to be very interesting to see, indeed, what they do ban after being taken down like that. But indeed, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Me and Andy will be back very shortly for Game 2 between OG and iG.Vitality. And of course, at the moment, the series stands OG 1 game up. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Microphone muted. Microphone activated.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We've got OG versus iG.Vitality. Game 2 now, starting off. Game 1, of course, going the way of OG very convincingly as well. I'm OD Pixel, I'm joined by Jurassic. The draft is underway. Andy, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm ready for IGV to show their true colors, because I refuse to believe that that is the best that team has to offer after watching game number 1. But Drow's bad, so shocker.
Absolutely. I can't believe they did that. But they did. And
I mean, when you and I would ban Drow after that game, that's when you know.
Yeah.
That's when you know it's gonna get banned.
You just don't do it again. And OG switched it up a little bit. I mean, that is a hero that there's certainly been a lot of series where it's been top contention in terms of bans. I feel like it's probably been banned than it has more than it has been picked. But OG will get the chance to get their hands on it. Pick one, and I imagine that's most likely to be the S4 bat, isn't it? I mean, I guess they could play it mid, but surely, I mean, I don't know what Anna's bat